Nexus, the legendary planet of the Elden, a powerful technological advanced race that mysteriously disappeared from the galaxy over 1,000 years ago. Located on an unmapped region of space, Nexus has been sought out by archaeologists, adventurers, and treasure hunters for centuries, and its recent discovery has ignited a mad rush across the galaxy to uncover its many secrets. The Dominion, a galactic empire, has claimed Nexus and all its riches, declaring war on mercenaries, rebels, and refugees called the Exiles. Exiles discovered the planet and now call it their home. Caught in the middle of this intensifying conflict is a chaotic and vibrant mix of different races from the furthest corners of the galaxy, including hostile alien races, bloodthirsty space pirates, and greedy intergalactic corporations. This is Wildstar. So today we're going to be reviewing an MMO, Wildstar. Yes, I know, an MMO is very hard to review. It's challenging and complicated because MMOs are constantly changing from every month to like a year. The game that was there when it was launched is something totally different, a different beast. Balance changes, new maps, new content, everything flooding into an MMO. So take this as the state of the game right now. So what I'm gonna do here is gonna try to fit everything I can into one video, give you a nice overview, then give you some of my opinions on the game, and you can decide if you like it or not. What can I say about Wildstar? It's a fun MMO, I'm not gonna even lie. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's everyone's cup of tea, but I will be lying if I said it didn't do some things right.
Well, it can't be done! I can't stand listening to this imbecile any longer.
Now before I start, I'm gonna let you know how much I played. I got a level 50 and a level 25, and I got a 10 and a couple ones, whatever. But I played a lot. So for starters, we have two factions, the Exiles and the Dominion, each having 4 different races that you can play as. I chose Exiles because space bunnies. What else is there to say? You also have 6 classes to choose from: Warrior, Spellslinger, Esper, Engineer, Stalker, or Medic. But they do something slightly different here. Yes, Wildstar does have the Holy Trinity, which is Tank, DPS, and Healer, but every class can do one support role. Example, every class can do DPS, but Warriors, Engineers, and Stalkers can tank. Also, Spellslingers, Espers, and Medics can also heal. You can switch your role by resetting your abilities and picking support skills. You can also save templates of your skills using the action sets. So far while playing, it was really easy to switch which role you played just by switching your gear and then your template. But then you get to the point where you want to do some PvP, you want to do some PvE, and you only have 2 action sets. And to reset your amps, which is this huge skill tree, costs a lot of money. So for the state of the game right now, you got to be really sure what role you're going to be playing and what you're going to be spending your points into, because the amp points are extremely useful. It's basically like a smaller version of the Path of Exile tree. A very small version of the Path of Exile tree. When choosing your abilities, you only have 8 slots to fill in, so you have to choose wisely. You also get ability tiers for each skill that you have. Depending on how many points you put into this ability, you'll get really good perks, such as a damage boost, cooldown reduction, or even a buff. Also, all the classes have one single weapon, like the Warrior has a greatsword, or the Spellslinger has dual pistols. This also prevents people fighting over weapons in dungeons. They also made the armor sets and stats different for each class, so there's no confusion when a really epic, awesome piece drops. Unless you're still confused of what they even mean. I mean, they changed all the words like strength to like things like brutality and insight. And to give a good example of a stat difference between each class is finesse. The stat finesse to an Esper, Stalker, or Warrior is a strike through rating or critical severity rating. To a Spellslinger and Engineer, it's assault power. To a medic, it's deflect rating. And the key points to look at here is the warrior, esper, and stalker wear different armor sets. Now, once you're all geared up, you can take this to the open world PvP. Oh, did I forget to mention that? In the beginning, you can choose between exiles or dominion, and also choose what server you're gonna be on.
You could choose a little PvE server.
Or you could choose a man server, a PvP server. Just some fair warning here, you will get ganked, and especially when you're leveling and you're fighting a big monster and a dominion just says, hey, why not? But I gotta say, some of the best moments I've had in Wildstar is the open world PvP. Just roaming around with your friend and then finding a random group of dominion. Sometimes you might overcome them, sometimes you just might get wiped out. That's just how it is. And there is some epic moments using the terrain. Just cool stuff, all right? Just take my word for it. Or don't take my word for it.
But you don't have to take my word for it.
When creating a character, you can choose one of the 4 paths in the game. Explorer, soldier, settler, or scientist. This is supposed to tailor the way you play the game, but you don't necessarily get XP for doing this other than path XP to unlock skills, which is pretty much the reason why you would choose any one of these paths. Because at the end of the day, they're just really extra quests to do. They're nothing really special. Soldier gives more kill stuff missions. Explorer gives more jumping puzzles. Scientist supposedly gives you more lore. And settlers, you basically get to build a big buff station, which is actually extremely helpful. But what's really important is the skills you get for picking that path. Like for the scientist, you'll get a skill called Summon Group, which will summon your entire party to your location, which is extremely helpful for certain quests and dungeons. Or because you need help because a couple Dominion scum is trying to attack you. Now, I know a lot of you guys are only here for the end game, but we're gonna start with the leveling first. Wildstar has a traditional questing system, which basically you just walk up to a quest giver with an exclamation point on top of his head and you just get a quest from him. Oh, go kill this. Oh, go fetch that. Which can get a little boring, especially when you're by yourself. Yes, I know, why play an MMO alone? I understand. But not all the quests are boring. Sometimes you get quests like going up to space and grabbing a motorcycle and start blowing up stuff. Drive a spaceship and start blowing up stuff. Ride in a thing and start blowing up stuff. Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern.
Double kill. Triple kill.
But no, seriously, there are some really cool moments in the questing. Together with questing is challenges and events, which are basically the same thing as questing, except you have a time limit. And sometimes you can get really cool rewards like stuff for your house. But we're not there yet. One thing you're gonna notice while leveling in Wildstar is that there isn't voice acting. Yes, we are a little spoiled. We had Guild Wars 2 that had voice acting. We had ESO that had voice acting. We had even SWTOR that had voice acting. So coming from one of those MMOs into Wildstar and you're a big lore buff, then you're gonna have to read a lot, which is not necessarily a bad thing if you like reading. And no voice acting means basically more lore for people to read, because hiring voice actors to read every single text in the game is expensive. And if they were to do that for a whole MMO, well, you kind of see how SWTOR did it, and yeah, they spent a lot of money. Now, I don't mean that there isn't any voice acting ever in the game. No, of course, NPCs say random gibberish as you pick up quests.
I'm authorized to gainfully employ you.
You get random lore from data cubes around the world, and you also get voice acted cutscenes later on. I swear, most MMOs these days make me feel like leveling is a big tutorial for endgame, where it teaches you all the mechanics of the game, and then when you get to endgame, you're a little bit more prepared. Because in the beginning levels of Wildstar, you're like, oh, look at this little telegraph. Oh, it's so cute. I can move out of the way. Just a little dodge here. Yeah. Crap. Combat. This is basically what I really enjoy about Wildstar. It's basically Guild Wars 2 and Smite having a baby. Almost every skill has to be aimed using a telegraph. So if an enemy player or NPC is not within your telegraph, they won't be hit by your attack. Depending on what class you're playing, you have telegraphs with different shapes and sizes. Because of the telegraph system, I actually enjoy PvP in this game. Instead of learning every single skill in the game that your enemy can use against you, which of course you will learn in time, the telegraph system will tell you exactly where they're aiming, so you can either dodge out of the way, which yes, you can dodge in this game, thank the heavens, or get hit like a scrub. Come over here! The telegraph system also allows some really good dungeon design, just some really cool bullet hell, awesome telegraph, very tricky awesomeness. Between the boss animations and the telegraphs on the floor, it tells you exactly what the boss is going to do. So when you die, you know exactly why you died. Then you learn maybe I should interrupt this boss before he starts doing this telegraph vomit on the floor. Well, what do you get from these bosses? Well, you get them loots. If you played MMOs before, you won't be disappointed here. Once you get a rare item, you're gonna have to go through the need and greed system. And you can only roll need if your character can use the item. So if your character only uses swords, you can't roll need on dual pistols. Now, also in the epic loots is housing items. Now, Wildstar doesn't just have shoehorned housing in the game. No, it's intertwined in the game. It's wrapped around the game. It's cradling the game. At level 14, you'll be able to get a housing plot. On this housing plot, you can put down your house, a gathering node, a crafting bench, change the sky, a raid portal, a portal to another dimension that may or may not have a jumping puzzle in it. I'm going to make that. I'm going to make that. Believe in me. Believe. You can also mad pimp your house. It's like The Sims, but for an MMO. You can place it anywhere in your house. You can even put your bed on your roof. I mean, no one's judging here. I mean, someone even made a skate park on their housing plot. Yes, that is a hoverboard, and yes, it's as amazing as it looks. There may not be many mounts in this game, but the ones that are there are pretty cool. Plus, you can also customize them. And speaking of customization, you can also customize a personal costume for your characters. As you level up, you unlock costume sets. All you have to do is go to an NPC, tossing whatever costume you want in your set, and you can be able to switch back from your real armor to your costume sets anytime you want. And you can also dye your armor in the process. Other than mounts, there's other ways to travel around the world. No, they actually have a taxi system.
Alarm clocks? Don't get me started. That's why I keep one in the truck there, so I can always be ahead of my time. I can't stand it.
Once you reach level 50, which is the max in Wildstar, you'll start earning Elder Gems. You get Elder Gems by just basically playing the game and earning XP. You can use Elder Gems to purchase some really cool goodies from the shop, like an extra action slot for your character, or of course a new customizable mount. It's a hoverboard. But more importantly, the attunement key. This key is used to be able to go into raids, 20-man raids and 40-man raids. But it doesn't stop there. You're gonna have to complete a 12-step program in order to get inside of raids. And that will give you the best gear. And that's totally optional. As soon as you hit 50, you unlock veteran mode for adventures and dungeons, which will also give you really good gear. And those veteran dungeons are hard. Really hard. But it could be just because we're all noobs because we just started playing the game, and it might become easy once we understand the game later on a few months down the line. Also at level 50, you unlock rated PvP and war plots, which also have their gear merchants in your capital city depending on which faction you chose. PvP is self-explanatory, but war plots is something a little bit different. War plots is a 40-on-40 base building madness, which will destroy your PC if you're running on a potato, because telegraphs will be all over the place. But in War Plots, you can customize your traps like lasers and mines all over the place. It's basically combining housing, but for PvP. You can even toss in a raid boss in your War Plot. So that's what you're going to be doing at level 50. They're also decided to do monthly updates, which will bring more raids and dungeons and more PvP stuff to the game. What's also monthly is the subscription fee for $14.99. I know that segue was beautiful. But Wildstar is taking on a system similar to EVE Online with which you can actually pay for your subscription fee with in-game gold. When someone buys a cred with real-world money, which is a subscription fee for a month, they can sell it in-game to other players, exchanging real-world money for in-game gold. Right now, cred is pretty cheap, and it's only a couple days worth of work if you're playing every single day, but I'm pretty sure things are gonna change months down the line. I probably should mention that you could really mod this UI any way you want to. Yep, you can basically destroy all the hard work they did and just put your own crappy UI on it. But seriously, they made every single piece of the UI a mod that you can switch around with. You can even reload the UI when it messes up, because it often does. One thing I really enjoy about Wildstar is the charm of the game, from the random chocobo mount to the voice actor that insults you every time you die.
Dead again? Ah, well, practice makes perfect. Ah, a regular customer.
And if you haven't checked out the Dev Speaks, you probably should.
Like riding around on your hoverboard? How about like this? Boop. That's right, mount customization. Who doesn't want a ramen bowl on their chewable?
Say that again and I will erase you! Oh no, I'm so scared.
At the end of the day, Wildstar knows exactly what it is, taking older, familiar ideas from MMOs that we have played and putting their own twist on it. Like traditional questing, a very old concept. But in Wildstar, you can turn in your quest using a communicator instead of going back to the quest giver, or individual mounts having speed attached to them. To upgrade your speed for all mounts, all you have to do is upgrade your riding skill. Wildstar is filled with tweaks like this. I gotta say, the leveling process might turn away a lot of people from the game before they even get a chance to experience their class, their skills, or the game in general. And this is, in my opinion, Wildstar's biggest flaw. Wildstar's leveling can get really boring. Yes, you're probably gonna find that character that you enjoy, level it up to 50, and never do the leveling process ever again. But I say you gotta enjoy that first time you level up a character in the game. Yes, you will get tired of the leveling process after you leveled up like 20 alts, but when you first start, it shouldn't feel so tedious like it does in Wildstar. This does translate a little bit into the end game when it comes down to doing your daily quest for your reputation and elder gems. Now, even though I don't like it, I still enjoyed the combat in the game so much that it didn't really bother me that I was killing these mobs over and over again. The main reason why I enjoyed Wildstar was the combat. I spent many hours playing PvP instead of doing important things. But remember, Wildstar is an MMO that took older traditional ideas and gave it a nice twist on it. Don't come here expecting an evolution in the genre. It's like expecting Firefly to come back. It ain't happening. But what is here is an MMO made by developers who love the genre. And it's worth a try.